Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. Remember, open your free account at Caleb and Brown. Go to XRPwealth589.com. XRPwealth589.com and open your free account today. Get free institutional grade custody, no hidden fees, no hidden spreads, and guess what else? Multiple layers of security as well as human customer service. I'm telling you, this is a remarkable thing. You guys know I'm spread out on multiple exchanges, and this is one of them. So make sure you check it out for yourself. XRPwealth589.com. Take a look right here. $3.58 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 1.8, and I'll be glad to tell you when it's a $5 trillion market cap, but today's not it. Nonetheless, Bitcoin 109,000 plus, 2,700 plus for Ethereum. XRP's $2.32, ladies and gentlemen. We're reaching that critical point that technical analysts have told us about, where we get up above that, I think at 233 mark, and close above that. It'll be very bullish for XRP. We're up 1% on the 24, up 3.3 on the 24, ranging between 229.24 to 229.70. How's that for a tight range? So we will keep an eye on it and see where it goes throughout the day, obviously. Yesterday, there was huge committee meetings in the Ag Committee and the Financial Services Committee on getting the legislation for crypto through, and it was not without a little bit of struggle and delay tactics. And wouldn't you know it, Brad Sherman's in the pile, who is very anti-crypto. Take a listen.
The gentleman will yield.
Let's pass the bill.
Agreed. Thank you.
We only need 4 amendments.
Reclaiming my
No
time, I would agree with
bailouts,
the gentleman that we should
no
absolutely pass this bill.
bailouts.
Do not confuse this. Do not put us down more years of confusion. Don't put me back on a Zoom call with Schumer where there's no guidance provided. We have clear lanes of the road. I would work with my colleague on the other side of the aisle for further refinement, but don't put the brakes on a good bill that this country desperately needs. We cede the high ground to foreign countries when we don't act in the right way.
We cede the high ground to foreign countries when we don't act in the right way, because this is about the dollar. And Brad Sherman is still playing party politics in this process, and it is very dangerous what's happening. But you know what? Representative Brian Stile here lays it down in support of the Clarity Act. Take a listen to this as he lays it down.
I want to start, Mr. Chairman, by thanking you, by thanking former Chair McHenry, Chairman of the Agriculture Committee, G.T. Thompson, Subcommittee Chair Dusty Johnson, for their work on the digital assets market structure over the last few years. I think it should be really important to note that moments ago, our colleagues on the Ag Committee passed the Clarity Act 47-6 in an overwhelming bipartisan manner. Moments ago, the Ag Committee passed the Clarity Act, which we are discussing right now, 47-6 in an overwhelming bipartisan vote. Mr. Chairman, I feel optimistic that we can move forward on this legislation in a bipartisan manner also, because at the end of the day, market structure clarity is not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about moving our country forward.
There it is right there. And that's absolutely right. And look, again, there's going to be things on the left that we want. There's going to be things on the right that they want. The Clarity Act is heading to the House floor because it's passed. Take a listen, French Hill and Brian Stile.
Brian Stile, French Hill, live from the House Financial Services Committee, where today we had a bipartisan vote to report the Clarity Act out of our House committee and onto the House floor for consideration. This is the second bill that Brian has so ably led, first stable coins and now our market structure bill.
Big step forward, House Financial Services under the leadership of French Hill. Great to see French's Clarity Act pass the House here in the Financial Services Committee in a bipartisan way, mirroring the bipartisan support we saw in the Ag Committee. At the end of the day, this is all about getting this across the House floor and signed into law to be transformative to move us forward in Web3.
This is just an opportunity, as Brian says, to see America lead in the future of Web3 on the internet, including financial services using tokenized payments, and having rules of the road where if you're an innovator, a consumer, an investor, you know what the rules of the road are and how to invest in America.
There you have it right there. I mean, we're so close to getting this. And here we see House Committee Financial Services passes Clarity Act on 32-19, advancing major crypto legislation to the floor of the full House vote. This is super, super exciting. We're moving forward at a breakneck pace for Congress. Let's embrace it, ladies and gentlemen. I know we can't celebrate till the fish is in the boat, but speaking of fish in the boat, we're about to have the new CTF chair too, Brian Quintenz. Listen to his statements as he goes through his confirmation process.
In creating regulatory frameworks for crypto assets and intermediaries. Second, I've had a direct line of sight into the future of this technology and how it could transform our lives. I view blockchain as a horizontal technology that has the potential to touch every aspect of society, not just as a vertical technology purely focused on financial services.
There you have it right there. Now, this is the guy who's going to be the new CFTC chair after he's confirmed, and I think he's going to have a good grip. And remember, yesterday we just reported on the fact that the CFTC may be getting the oversight of the spot crypto market. So that's being talked about in Congress as well. And it's also being talked about that the SEC get to determine on a case-by-case basis who is a security and who isn't. And that's a problem for me because it depends on the leadership at the SEC at any given time to figure out what that's going to look like. Imagine if Gary Gensler actually had that power and he was just causing problems when he didn't have power. But imagine someone like him with that power and then just determining everything that comes across his desk as a security without even looking. So there are things that still have to be hammered out here. We need to pay close attention as we move through it. But as we do, take a look at the exciting news that's happening here. NASDAQ listed Vivo Power partners with Flare to deploy $100 million in XRP for institutional yield. Yeah, you know what's interesting? That's not something we have actually heard of before, right? Isn't that interesting? This is going to be a huge demand for institutional yield going forward, especially after we get legislation. You think this is going back another way? No. In fact, what's happening is we're about to see some factors come into play that we've never witnessed before. And I couldn't be more excited. The $100 million bet on XRP by the NASDAQ listed company to deploy the $100 million in XRP on Flare's blockchain to earn yield and stack more XRP. This follows Vivo Power's $121 million plan to launch that XRP Treasury strategy. Look, this is just one of many to come. This is going to be so fun to watch, and imagine the upward demand and pressure for people to scarf this up so they can put it in their treasuries as well. And meanwhile, what do we see? Ondo Finance's U.S. government treasuries, OUSG, ladies and gentlemen, is now live on the XRP Ledger. Oh, I've got something for you. Yes, I do. Yoshitaka Katao is just as excited as all of us. Tokenized treasuries go live on the XRP Ledger because Ondo Finance's OUSG unlocks institutional access to seamless mint and redemptions via Ripple's Real USD stablecoin. What are we talking about here? We're talking about all of the traditional financial products being tokenized and moved onto the XRP Ledger. Specifically, we're talking about the United States government debt, which is bonds being tokenized onto the XRP Ledger, which will also work seamlessly with the minting of Real USD stablecoin. Will also work seamlessly with the custody of Medico and Standard Trust and Company. So All of the things are in place to watch this institutional demand take off. And what kind of size are we talking about here? Well, we're only talking about, programmable tools that pave the way for a $19 trillion market by 2033. $19 trillion market. That's all we're talking about, right? That's all we're talking about. It's not much, right? Can't be that much. Now, when you look at the news from RippleX, tokenized U.S. Treasuries are now live on the XRP Ledger. Ondo's doing this. We broke the news, right? BlackRock's BUIDL fund. It unlocks the institutional access, mintable and redeemable using real USD, all on the XRP Ledger. And I say this because this is the truth. And I wrote it down. For clarity, this means all of the so-called hype influencers like myself, DAI, and a handful of others were right the entire time about the macro vision. And I think a new name is in order because hype is a false narrative placed on us by the weak who are still on the struggle bus. This is going down just as we've discussed for years. And I'd like to nominate Legends as our new title. Come on in. You damn right. And speaking of legends, here's Dark Defender, just like Egg Rag Crypto and others. XRP is on the verge of a breakout in the daily time frame. He says if we will see great moves above $2.33 candle closes. RSI is bullish. Exponential moving average are bullish. Ichimoku clouds expected to turn bullish. We are ready for it. And yes, we are. And I say to all of you, you've been here for a long time too. And you're a legend as well. Let's go, legends. Let's go, legends. It's no longer hype. Those people were liars and they truly didn't understand what they held. That's why they were trying to convince all of us to not believe and understand the things that we've understood for years. And now it's time for them to rub that head of theirs like a soft-headed infant, get up off the floor and get with us because the narrative is no longer hype. It's exactly what's unfolding. Not financial advice from me or anyone else, but that's the truth. Don't believe it. It's still true. I'll catch all of you on the next one.